Alright everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Project Eden's Garden. My name is Skirboga, Captain Skirboga, and unfortunately, we're going to have to investigate, Liar Man! Poor Liar Man! We have to investigate his death. A taser gun? Pretty random thing to be lying around a crime scene. It definitely wasn't in the boiler room prior to the murder either. Did that mean this taser gun was involved in the murder? On closer inspection, nothing about the gun looked particularly strange. Had it even been used, I'm pretty sure taser guns dispense some kind of wire when fired. Nearby were some yellow pieces of plastic on the floor. They were the same shade of yellow as the taser gun. Had these originally been attached to it? I can't tell where they would fit on the gun though. Never mind. What's the point in making guesses when I can just get him to confirm? After all, someone who's a pro at wielding guns should know them better than anyone else. Okay, so we're gonna have to find Desmond. He's gonna know what's going on with this taser gun. Half of the generator's internals had melted away, and what still remained was almost completely singed. Yeah, this was definitely the cause of the power outage. What could have melted the wires though? It looked like a bomb had gone off in there. Now that I think about it, during the game tournament. Taking a deep breath, I steadied my grip on the controller and pushed both joysticks as hard as I could. Kaboom, baby! Huh? All of a sudden, the world around me turned pitch black. There had been a loud boom right before the blackout happened, similar to a firework going off or someone firing a gun. Did I overhear the sound of the generator being destroyed? Nothing else near the dining hall could have made that kind of noise, I don't think. Okay, so the generator has been added. Clearly it's been destroyed. If my assumption is correct, the generator would have been destroyed around the same time the murder was committed. That's suspicious. There's no way two events are connected. Yeah, because the generator definitely killed Wolfgang. I'm calling it now. Wait a minute. No, I'm not. Do you remember in the beginning, like early back then in a couple episodes, like way back, that, who's that fangirl? Toshiko. Toshiko was talking about how the cereal wasn't actually the same cereal on the box. Do you think that could have been the cause for Wolfgang? Okay, I know, just hear you out. It's kind of a stretch, but I think maybe the cereal was involved. Maybe someone put some kind of like sleeping powder or sleeping liquid serum in there, and then maybe Wolfgang was eating it, and then bam, knocked out, and that's how he was found on the ground because he got transported there. But I'm also working purely off my memory of the boom, baby, shakalaka. To be absolutely sure, I need to know when exactly the blackout occurred. Was there any way for me to find that out? Is there like any time stuff? What is that? Generator? I can't look at the box? Blood! Let's look at the blood. I don't think that was there before. There was blood speckled across the floor. I didn't notice it at first due to the room's restricted lighting. But now, after my eyes had time to adjust, it couldn't be more obvious.
I see.
Looks like it passes into the hallway too. I'd completely missed these during the blackout. Speaking of, after the body discovery announcement, everyone barged into the boiler room through this door. Yet these blood spots don't look smudged. I'm guessing they were already dry by the time any of us got here, in which case, could this be Wolfgang's blood? Nah, I think it's the murderer's. It's the murderer's blood, because Wolfgang fought back. Okay, blood spots have been added to the truth bullet. It's hard to think that Wolfgang didn't fight at all. Like, surely he must have fought back?
Hello?
Winona, you're still here?
Seriously?
Is there a problem with that? Why does she need to frame everything I say in the worst light? I'm preparing to hold a one-on-one session with Ulysses. I was consulting him about something important before we were interrupted by the announcement. Is that what you were doing before the blackout?
Huh?
Repeat that?
It's simple.
The blackout. You were still with Ulysses when it happened.
Come on.
You're not speaking any sense. There was no power outage. Huh? She can't be serious. That blackout affected the entire building, unless...
Anyways.
Let me rephrase. Where were you when the murder happened?
Sheesh.
Where were you? At Cassidy's game tournament in the dining hall.
Oh, really?
Really? Not what I expected.
Let me see.
Ulysses and I spent this morning by the large tree. We stayed there up to including the time of Wolfgang's murder. Sounded like she had an alibi then. As for the location she mentioned, I assumed this entire building complex connected to one of the generator, but it made more sense for that tree area to have its own separate system, hence why it didn't lose power. What about the courtyard though? Was anyone there at the time of the blackout? Right, so blackout occurred. Alright, Jean, let's see what you've got to say.
Aye.
Oi, take a whiff of the air! Wait, should I do a French accent for him? There ain't something off about it. No, I can't. I literally don't know how to do a French accent for you, buddy, because of the way you speak. Ain't there something off about it? I mean, okay, maybe I'll just do I think I'll just keep the deep voice for you. I know I said I would do him in French, but like, it's kind of really hard. I followed his instructions and sniffed the air. It smells like burnt rubber.
That ain't it.
'Cause of the busted generator, yeah? But that's not what I'm talking about. There is another scent, a real bitter one. You might actually be onto something. It's almost like cereal and rubbing alcohol. What did I say? What did I say about the cereal, okay? Toshiko said it before. Oh my gosh. I was right. Oh my gosh. I was right. I'm onto something.
Bad news.
Indeed. I'm suspecting a mighty chemical reaction at work. I've had my fair share of travels across the sea, and I'm no stranger to foul play. There's no stench worse than one of a disastrous combustion.
It is how it is.
Thing is, I got no idea where it's coming from. Really? The smell is supposedly that of a chemical reaction? Where else could it be coming from besides the busted generator? Unless Jean's conclusion about the smell is wrong. I wouldn't put it past him. Look at that. Look at the cereal. Look at the cereal. Look at the cereal. I was right, Toshiko. Because I was wondering, why would you mention something like that so far off earlier in the episode? Like, so far off. So early. Like, this is a previous episode that we recorded, guys. Like, why would she mention that? Okay? Had to come to play. Had to come to play somehow. Alright, Ulysses, your turn.
Terrible.
The generator over there is partially submerged into the water. I think we would be wise to stay on this platform. Was he worried about the water being electrified? Ava and I managed to stand in it way back when. I don't see why now would be any different. Then again, the generator wasn't damaged last time.
Damn.
Yeah, since Wolfgang is kneeling in the water, we should avoid touching him.
No.
You don't know for sure if the water's unsafe.
Huh?
Listen to me.
Before you start making conclusions, you should experiment first. Saying that, Ava walked over to a pile of boxes and pulled out a light bulb. Oh, I see what you're doing. Sure enough, Ava went straight to the edge of the platform and threw the light bulb into the water. Wouldn't that break, though? I don't see how that's smart either.
Look.
See? It's not lining up. How would you know that, though? How would anyone know to do that, though? That means the water is safe.
Well, I
see. Then I suppose it's safe to inspect Wolfgang.
Okay.
Are you going to? I think I will observe from afar instead. Now isn't the time to be listening to your nerves. Oh, so he's been, ooh! What is that? What is that? It looks like a safety pin. A bobby pin, I mean. Look at the bobby pin! Why can't I touch the bobby pin? It won't let me touch the bobby pin. The bobby pin's right there. Aren't you going to investigate Wolfgang?
Me?
Yeah.
Who else? Back when we mistook that dummy for a body, you poked it pretty nonchalantly.
Hang on.
That's different. I never thought it was real.
I see.
Now that we were finally advancing in the investigation, her cool composure had all but vanished. Typical, I guess. She can only keep up an act for so long. Why won't it let me touch the bobby pin? Ah! Okay, we're gonna look at the body now. I'll inspect the rest of the scene first before I go near this body. What do you mean? Well, what am I missing? Oh, look at the cord. I didn't even notice that. Huh? There's a cord in the water. Judging by the length, I think it's an extension cord. But what happened to the other end of it? There was no internal plug, just a frayed tip lined with a black substance. Had the cord been burnt? I didn't see this cord in the boiler room earlier, so it probably came from somewhere else. One of the storage rooms, maybe. It wasn't always in this condition, that's for sure. All the items we've been provided so far, light bulbs, speakers, a fridge, they've worked perfectly well. So what happened to this cord, and why was it even in the water? I don't know. Ooh, look at that, there's a knife there. The knife? But it's red. It's got red blood. We've got pink blood here. Why was a knife floating in the water? On the blade and in the surrounding water, I could make something out. The unmistakable color of blood. There's no doubt about it. This knife must have something to do with the murder. Why was the knife here not actually on the platform? I had no idea. Well, I think I do. Maybe Wolfgang brought it with him? I don't think because I don't think he'd go down without a fight. Maybe he was the one who attacked the other person. But that's not a good idea though. I mean, technically it'd be good for self-defense, but even self-defense murders are counted as murders. Wolfgang knew he was cooked. Chunks of something red were floating nearby the generator. It almost looked like metal, or maybe plastic? Were these originally part of the generator? The colors and materials don't seem to match though. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Okay, is it really not gonna let me touch the bobby pin? Okay, well. So what am I missing?
Hi.
Why did you move over here? It's
The struggle.
I feel it is highly important we investigate anything and everything we can. That is why I moved over here to investigate. More like he didn't want to be near Wolfgang's body. And what was a first for the investigation, something other than fear appeared on Ulysses' face. It was curiosity.
Eh?
What is it? Look at the floor in front of the door.
That's...
Oh! Okay, that's why we had to talk to Ulysses to get the bobby pin. This? Yes.
Seriously?
Is this just a small piece of scrap metal? No! Damon, don't you know what a bobby pin is?
Do you think?
Even so, it's still a part of the crime scene. It necessitates documentation.
That's not important.
Seriously, something this small means nothing. No, Damon, you know nothing about hair products. It could have come from the generator or the pipes above us. Ingrid could have been carrying it for all we know. This guy, there's so much here he could actually document, and instead he's focusing on some flimsy piece of metal. Okay, this could actually be a huge piece to the crime scene though, Damon. I feel like you're just throwing it away for no reason. All the more reason to rely on myself. Oh, it's a bobby pin. Alright, it feels like I've given the boiler room a good rundown, which means just yesterday Wolfgang was talking with us, eating breakfast with us. And now he's dead. Looks like he was crying too. That's gotta suck, man. Crying. Disheveled hair. Unkept uniform. Who had the resolve to commit such a needlessly brutal murder? To go so far as to mangle his body. I couldn't unpack it. I didn't know how to. This wasn't just some dummy I had to investigate. This was a real person. It was so far out of my expertise, let alone my comfort zone.
Hello.
Do you want to expect him?
Yeah, I want to expect him. And by the way, guys, I did 2 escape rooms and 1 cold murder case practice, like that game, to prepare for this because I'm really bad at figuring out who did it. Why are you freaked out, Damon? We literally spoke to her before. Holy crap, did she really have to scare me like that? She was right there the entire time, Damon. Yeah, I do want to expect him. It's just the idea of getting close to him.
Where?
I'll investigate with you. It'll be easier for both of us that way. Right?
Right.
What? Okay, whatever. Wolfgang laid completely still, his face frozen in a look of horror. His once bright eyes were shrouded in darkness, and his mouth was open, as if he'd been killed mid-scream. Ava's expression said it all. Wolfgang did everything in his power to make us outcasts, and make the worst of us. At times, I even hated him for it. But this brought no relief to either of us. I don't know, man, I think Ava's kind of glad. Just a little bit. I mean, she got more of the brunt than we did. Wolfgang, what happened in his final moments that left him so terrified? Was it the realization he was about to die? Mulling over the what-ifs won't bring me any closer to solving Wolfgang's murder. Right now, my focus should be to find evidence, and that begins by investigating his body. Okie dokie. Wolfgang's face. There didn't seem to be any strange markings on Wolfgang's face. However, along the back of his neck was a massive bruise.
That looks like a really bad injury. Almost his entire neck is discolored.
Damn.
Right. How did he get this on the back of his neck? Someone hit him with it, probably? Well, I guess you can't hit a bruise on him. I mean, you can hit something on his back, on his neck. Okay. Well, I don't know.
Nothing around us seemed to have left it. This might sound morbid, but what if it's a sign of his body decomposing?
That's...
Can a body really decompose this fast?
It could, or it could not. It probably depends on the environment.
As in the temperature?
Correct.
Cold places are generally better at preserving things than warm, humid areas like this boiler room.
Thinking.
Kind of like dairy products. That's a good comparison.
I don't want to think of dairy products right now. I love dairy products. I don't want to think of Wolfgang when I'm eating dairy products. A tone-deaf one, but sure. Kind of like that one murder where the culprit got turned into cheese. That one was a weird one.
Wolfgang didn't have this bruise yesterday at the very least.
I don't know, man. It could have been a hickey, too. A very big hickey, but I mean,
If he did, it would have been super noticeable.
I don't know, man. He's got long hair. He could have hidden it with his jacket or his collar.
Fair.
Yeah, true. Turning my attention back to Wolfgang, I caught something else on his body. Near the mark on his neck, but not directly overlapping it. A red dot?
Is that a beauty mark?
No. Doesn't look like it. The skin around the dot seems to be inflamed. It reminds me of a popped pimple. He does not have pimples, guys. This man has flawless skin. Absolutely flawless. The sort of wound you could easily inflict on yourself.
So,
Then you don't think this is related to the murder?
It might not be, but
There must be something.
judging by the lack of scabbing, this was inflicted pretty recently, so we may as well keep it in mind. Someone could have shot him with something. I'm just saying. Because it looks like a needle, you know? For those who do drugs have like huge needle dots on them. Wolfgang's hands. Let's look at those. With the way Wolfgang was slumped over the platform, it almost looked like he had fallen on top of it.
Focus.
Let me see if his palms are scratched. As I knelt down to take a closer look,
Huh?
trickling out from under the cuff of Wolfgang's sleeve and onto the rest of his hand. Ooh, he's got veins, so something was injected into him as a reaction to that. A strange injury that looked a lot like a tree sapling. Was this a burn mark? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that was a burn mark. That's a burn mark? When I looked at Wolfgang's other hand, I saw the same thing. Markings that seemed to extend down the arm. I thought that was like vein corruption or
The
something.
hell?
Ava, look at this.
hello.
Let me see.
Yeah, burn marks.
That's really horrible. They look like gross little veins. What inflicted them?
That's...
There's a taser a little ways off from where we're standing, but I couldn't find anything to indicate it's been fired. So the only other thing I can think of is the generator.
Is that really true?
Why the generator?
I know.
The thing has clearly been destroyed by something. Maybe Wolfgang got caught in that something, and that's how he died.
Not sure.
The generator seems too far away from where Wolfgang is lying to cause these burns like these.
Look at this.
Plus, the room's water isn't conductive, so electricity couldn't have traveled through it.
Well, I mean, it still could, because, at the time there was electricity, so something could have helped the generator be conductive, and then when that little thing died, let's say like the electricity stun gun, like once it was used, electricity stopped because there was no more electricity fueling it. So it definitely could have, Ava.
Right.
You're right. Why are you agreeing with... Okay, I know she's our girlfriend, but dude, this is a crime scene. Why? Anything able to melt the generator's wires could have burnt his suit to a crisp too.
Exactly.
Thinking.
I think Wolfgang received these burns outside the boiler room.
How?
There's just nothing here that could leave these markings. As for the actual place he got burnt,
Guess we'll have to try and find it ourselves. That is, if such a place even exists. While it's possible the generator may not have been involved in the murder, it seemed unlikely that Wolfgang made a detour for the boiler room after being severely burnt. After all, burns like his would definitely paralyze someone. As for Wolfgang's palms, they didn't have any markings on them. Still, he must have fallen somehow. Why else would he be lying on the platform? Wolfgang's face, Wolfgang's hands, Wolfgang's body. Now that I think about it, the place where Wolfgang laid was odd. What were the chances he would end up here between the only opening of the fence? There's a fence? Where's the fence? The one spot where he could kneel over like this. Was it possible he'd been trying to climb onto the platform before he died? It's strange, why didn't he use the stairs though? And even stranger that he was even in the water. What fence? Is this a fence? Wolfgang's blazer. Wolfgang's suit was completely crumpled, a far cry from his once clean appearance. Water had seeped into the pants, completely ruining the fabric. Huh? As I leaned in close, I spotted a folded piece of paper sticking out from his back pocket. Though it was soaked, it wasn't completely destroyed.
Damn.
I really don't want to touch him, but with my thumb and index finger, I snatched the paper out of his pocket, taking care not to brush my hand against his body. I gingerly folded open the paper, aware that some of the wetter spots could fall apart immediately, and found a message written inside.
That's some very ugly handwriting. Do you recognize it?
No.
A lot of the text is unreadable. Whoever wrote this probably used a low-quality pen. Although, at the bottom of the page, fragments of a message were still visible. Secret, 8:15 a.m., boiler room, close the door. Doesn't this read a lot like a command?
It seems like someone wanted to arrange a private meeting with him here.
Man, everyone keeps choosing this room to make meetings happen.
I see.
Could that someone be the culprit?
Not sure.
8:15 a.m. That's a long time before the time of death, though.
Maybe there was a struggle, or maybe Wolfgang arrived late.
There must be something.
Either way, this message is definitely a valuable clue. It's our only insight into Wolfgang's movements before his death.
Well, now I really want to know where everyone was at the time.
I woke up at 8:30 a.m. this morning, so I was asleep when this meeting was scheduled to happen.
It's only 35 minutes before the tournament. Cassidy, Jet, Mark, and I would have already been in the dining room hall.
Right.
Setting up equipment.
That's...
As for the other students, directly asking them where they were at 8:15 a.m. might be risky.
Where?
Because they would wonder where we got the time from.
Exactly, and I'd prefer to keep this note between the two of us. At least for now.
Anyways.
This thing about a secret, what do you think that means?
Well, I'm not really sure. It could be referring to anything.
Or our murder motives, remember? We all got the envelopes, could be related to that. Anything, huh?
You know what it means?
I know.
I have an idea. The author of this letter might be talking about Wolfgang's blackmail. But we have your blackmail.
Huh.
If they claim to have it, they could have baited him here without much issue. After all, Wolfgang asked us to meet with the person whose blackmail we had.
Strange.
The derelict boiler room is a pretty ominous place to meet someone, though. It would have been Wolfgang's first time here. 2. Assuming he didn't explore this floor beforehand.
What could it be?
Either he didn't see the super obvious danger in meeting here alone, or he did realize and just didn't care.
Right.
Does that change anything about what I said? Well, obviously, yeah, that's so suspicious. Why would a lawyer come into the boiler room and meet someone there? Like, was he that worried about his blackmail?
Well, duh. If Wolfgang knew the warning signs, his reasons for coming might have less to do with integrity,
You see?
and more to do with desperation.
Huh?
Desperation?
To know the details of his blackmail.
I see.
It would stand to reason.
Ugh. If only Wolfgang had hidden his note somewhere safe instead of bringing it here. It would have been valuable evidence.
I doubt he could have envisioned something like this happening. Dude, okay, what if his dad wasn't the one who killed his mom? What if he killed his mom? And that was the secret. Like father, like son. Ooh. He was never really on his guard during the killing game, except around you and me, I guess. That seemed to be everything I could gather.
Hello.
Hey, Damon. Since we've inspected the boiler room, we should find the students who left and ask them for their testimonies.
Right.
They went upstairs to investigate Wolfgang's dorm, right?
Yes, because of what I said earlier. The victim's last known whereabouts are the best places to search for clues.
Okay.
Alright, let's see what they've been up to. Apart from collecting testimonies, there were 2 other matters on my mind. 1, getting Desmond to inspect the taser gun, and 2, pinpointing exactly when the blackout occurred, in case it happened at the same time of the murder. I walked over to the boiler room door, which had been left slightly ajar, but as I began to pull it the rest of the way open, I noticed it. The doorknob, something about it, looked different. Hey, Ava. The doorknob, I think it's been flipped.
Flipped? Are you sure?
Take a look for yourself. The first time we woke up here, I'm pretty sure this lock was on the inside, not the outside.
Is that really true?
How would someone be able to flip a doorknob, though?
That's...
By unscrewing it, probably.
Okay. Why didn't you say something earlier?
Huh?
What do you mean? This is the first time I've noticed it.
Is that really true?
Really? You didn't notice it back when you entered the boiler room with Kai?
No, not even then. It might have been because of the darkness or my own nerves. But back then I wasn't paying attention to small details like the doorknob. All I wanted to do was enter the boiler room.
Anyways.
I know that makes me sound stupid.
Listen to me.
It's okay. I mean, I probably would have noticed the doorknob had I been there, but that's besides the point.
Ava! Stop being mean! Alright. Anyway, this discovery paints an interesting picture. Yeah, because that's why the bobby knob was there. Because obviously when you're trapped inside a room, the bobby pin can help you get out, okay? I think someone walked Wolfgang in there, okay? I think that's what happened. Since the lock was now accessible from the hallway, you could technically lock the boiler room shut without ever stepping foot in it. Meaning that if you wanted to lock someone inside the boiler room, all you'd have to do is lure them in and close the door behind them. See, that's what I was saying.
Moving on.
Come on, we need to collect people's testimonies before the investigation ends.
Dude, I'm surprised that we have a short amount of time for this because when I did my cold case murder mystery, it took us like 2 hours to get all the clues and then be able to solve it. But I was also pressing random buttons. Okay, Wolfgang. Goodbye. Yeah, I want to leave. I would like to leave now. As a million questions rattled away in my mind, I followed Ava out the boiler room. Actually, Ava, before we go upstairs, it's probably worth checking out the storage closets first.
Why?
I know.
I found something in the boiler room that might be related to them. Judging by the length, I think it's an extension cord. But what happened to the other end of it? There was no internal plug, just a frayed tip lined with a black substance. Had the internal end been severed off? And the cord burned after? I didn't see this cord in the boiler room earlier, so it probably came from someplace else. One of the storage rooms, maybe. That extension cord, we should confirm it did indeed come from a storage closet.
Okay.
However,
But first, I want to talk to Cassie.
Come again?
You want to talk to her?
Yes, I want to talk to her. Is that bad?
No, we need everyone. She wasn't much help last investigation.
Well, any help is better than no help.
Fair.
Alright, I'll talk to Cassidy first, and then I'll investigate the storage closets on this floor. Ooh, that's new. I don't have to use... Ooh, I'm loving this. Okay, right, sorry, my bad. Cassidy, you are tiny. Cassidy was pacing around the hallway with a finger on her chin, seemingly doing nothing.
Yo!
Oh, hey guys! Sorry for not noticing you sooner. I was performing a super sweep down of this here hallway. That's a lot of words for wandering around aimlessly.
Listen to me.
Can you put your sweep down on hold? I have a really important question.
Okay.
Let's hear it! Just don't drag it on too long, okay? Gotta finish my sweep down before time's up.
You see?
Do you remember who attended the tournament?
The game tournament. Everyone who was stated to join kept their word, so we had a full house.
What about...
There were 8 people in total. Jet, Mark, Grace, Sean, Kai, and 3 of us.
Huh?
Something on your mind?
Well, since the murder happened in the boiler room,
Well,
wouldn't that mean everyone in the dining hall has an alibi?
ooh.
That's a good point! I didn't even think of that. She's totally right.
Also, since we split into pairs while investigating those rooms down the hall, every parent can vouch for each other.
Right.
We all split up. What were the groups again?
Yep.
Jet and I explored Storage Closet B.
Eh?
Storage Closet B?
Check it out.
That's what it's called on the map. Does she mean the map of the Tozu trinket? I activated my trinket and sure enough, see Storage Closet B. There's also Storage Closet A, Storage Closet C, and Storage Closet D. Those are definitely the rooms we explored.
I see.
In that case, Kai and I must have explored Storage Closet C. I remembered it clearly. The 2 of us checked the closet above and opposite the one Cassidy searched. According to this map, the only closet to fit those perimeters is Storage Closet C.
Correct.
Grace and I investigated the closet directly next to Damon's, so we must have been inside Storage Closet A.
Yeah.
Which leaves Mark and John with Storage Closet D. Yeah, that makes sense. Great. You know, Damo, since you're here,
Question.
what's the deal with you in the boiler room?
Huh?
What? When Kai told us party peeps about Wolfie, he said you 2 went inside the boiler room.
How?
The heck did you do that for? You were supposed to check out the storage closet.
No.
You're not casting suspicion on me, are you?
Me?
Me? No way. As far as Cass is concerned, everyone is innocent until proven otherwise. I investigated the storage closet with Kai. We just didn't find anything inside.
Anyway.
Although, we did hear someone run down the hallway.
Am I hearing you right?
Huh? For real? Persona 5, anyone? Man, unlucky, all that work for nothing. What's the plan now? Do we just, go back outside? Let's check out how the people next door are doing. Huh? Suddenly I heard a frantic footsteps echoing from the hallway outside.
Doubt it.
Weird. I don't remember any footsteps.
It's the truth.
I do.
Really?
Ava, did you really?
I heard them while Grace and I were investigating the storage room next to yours.
However,
I just brushed it off as my imagination, though.
F.
Guess me and Jet must have been talking over them. Were those footsteps the reason you entered the boiler room, Damo? It's Damon. And yeah. They came from the direction of that room, so I wanted to see what the person was running from.
For real?
Pooey, really? I would have just chased after the footsteps. I mean, entering the boiler room after something like that? You weren't scared a murderer was hiding inside? What I actually discovered wasn't much better. True. Then whose footsteps could those have been? I don't know why anyone would want to be running around those spooky hallways, let alone in the dark.
What about...
Unless... Ooh, maybe they were also looking for a backup generator?
That's not important.
I doubt it's that innocent. Considering the place this person ran away from was the crime scene. Those footsteps were probably the killers. You mean fresh off committing the murder?
Right.
Fresh off the murder or a bit after, depends what time we went downstairs. Either way, whether it was immediately after the murder or not, for a brief moment, the only thing separating us from Wolfgang's killer were the storage room walls. That's creepy to think about. Great. Thus bit by bit the mystery slowly unravels.
My genius is almost frightening.
Oh my gosh. No need to thank me, 'tis all in the day's work. She didn't even do anything. Okay. Is there any more blood? Is that blood?
Interesting.
The map says this is storage closet B.
Right.
The closet Cassidy and Jet explored.
Look,
Do you see that?
Eh?
See what?
The box in the corner over there. Look.
Damon Industries strikes again. Confused, I turned to where she was pointing. This is
I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
a generator, right? The one you were referring to during the blackout?
correct.
Yeah, exactly. Since I've explored these rooms before, I knew one of them had a backup generator.
That's...
If this closet had the backup generator, wouldn't that mean the ones who restored the power?
Thinking.
Oh shoot, I did that wrong. Sorry. I did that wrong. If this closet has the backup generator, wouldn't that mean the ones who restored the power? Yeah, okay.
Well, if Cassidy and Jet were the only people who entered the room, then there were the people who brought the power back.
I'm surprised those two actually knew how to navigate a generator. That seems to be all there is to this closet. But there's toilet paper on the ground. Really? That's it? Nothing?
Where?
A was me and Grace, B was Jet and Cassidy.
Ava was quietly reciting who went into what storage closet like an anxious high schooler trying to memorize her exam notes. She didn't even seem to notice me looking at her. Of course she wouldn't notice. She's blind. Yes, I want to leave. She's back over there. Did I just... Okay. Am I just entering the same thing over and over? Yeah, I want to leave.
Look,
This is storage closet D.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark and John explored this one. Let's see what I can find here.
Is there anything weird about this room?
That's...
I think I see something behind this pile of boxes. I stood on my tiptoes to get a better look and...
Jeez.
Ah, so they really are here.
well,
What's here?
Extension cords, a whole bunch of them.
strange.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, these are definitely the same type of cord I saw in the boiler room. Only difference is, these still have their other half intact. Huh, the internal plugs are pretty slim compared to the other kinds of cords. The fact that these cords match the ones in the boiler room means the killer must have rummaged through these closets for equipment. For what reason they needed the cord, I had no idea, but this was still a step in the right direction. Besides that box of cords, nothing else about this room is standing out to me.
So,
Do you want to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Really? Nothing? I can see they have extra carpets though, in case we ruin stuff.
weird.
Come again?
The cord is?
Correct.
Yeah. It's weird that it's at this crime scene. And its name is also weird.
Huh?
Its name?
Thinking.
Extension cord is a weird name.
Huh?
You see,
Those cords aren't even extendable. If they were like those dining tables you can pull apart, the name would make sense, but they're only a fixed length.
rage.
Ugh, weirdest name ever.
How many times can one person say weird? Yeah, I want to leave. Let's check this room, can I? This was the closet Kai and I explored. It was hard to get a good look at its contents in the dark. Seeing
I
it
see.
now, there doesn't seem to be anything important here. I think we can move on.
Okay.
Where?
A was me and Grace, B was Jet Cassidy.
Ava was quietly. Okay, she said that already. She said that already. Yes, I want to leave. Okay, one last time. Kept getting confused between which storage closet I was in.
Okay, this is storage closet A.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look around. As I began to inspect the shelves, the glint of something shiny caught my eye.
That?
Huh? Ava, look! There's a rolling pin here, and handprints on it too.
Strange.
What are you implying?
That someone used this recently, and not for its intended purpose. Yeah, okay, someone hit Wolfgang with a rolling pin. That's how he got the bruise, and then they injected him with the needle, and then he got left unconscious, and then he was dragged into the boiler room, and then something happened there.
I know.
Look, can you see how the handprints are at the base of the pin? You aren't rolling much dough if you're wielding this thing like a tennis racket, are you? The pin is also really dusty. If it came from the kitchen, it would be clean like the other utensils there.
Yeah, great.
Are you saying they just left a rolling pin in the closet? Wait, what do you mean it wouldn't be in the kitchen? I'm confused. Wait, what? Not only that,
Jeez.
right, there's a dent on the pin too.
Really?
On the end opposite the handprints, can you see it?
Weird.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Handprints and a dent, that definitely does not look like a coincidence.
Focus.
Could this pin have something to do with that mark we found on Wolfgang's neck? If it was used to knock him out, it would not only explain the dent on the pin, but the bruise on Wolfgang's neck.
How did it make its way into this closet, though?
Huh?
What do you mean?
How did the pin make its way into the closet after the killer used it?
Oh,
There must be something.
I mean, if the footsteps Kai and I heard were the killers, they probably chuckled the pin in here on their way out.
Absolutely not.
No, that's not what happened.
Huh?
Huh?
If the killer entered this closet and hid the rolling pin,
Listen to me.
Grace and I would have seen them.
Right, of course. She and Grace were investigating this closet at the time. What if the killer placed the pin in here before any of us came downstairs?
Save it.
If they were out in the hallway, why didn't they use that as their chance to escape?
She's right about that too. Could this rolling pin really be unrelated? But it lines up so well with the other evidence.
Moving on.
Okay, I don't think there's anything else to this room. Let's keep investigating.
No, I think the rolling pin. No, I am right about the idea of the rolling pin hitting Wolfgang. Okay, I'm right. One moment she's speaking nonsense, the next she's totally coherent. I don't think I'll ever understand this girl.
We've looked through all the closets now.
So...
Did you find everything you needed?
Yeah.
I did. The rolling pin and that stack of extension cords, there's no doubting their relevance to this case. At least based on what I've investigated so far.
Anyway.
Ava, let's go upstairs and collect some more testimonies.
where?
Finally.
Yeah, I want to leave. Alright, let's leave this place. See you later. Heading upstairs. What do you mean? Is there blood on the ground? Well, I wasn't able to inspect that before. There's dried blood on the floor. For some reason, it seemed to pull right around this particular spot.
Dried blood, like in the boiler room.
Eh?
You noticed the blood in there?
Correct.
I noticed you noticing it.
I see.
So...
Who do you think left all this blood behind?
Focus.
Well, it can't be Wolfgang, can it? Considering the sort of injuries he sustained, it wouldn't make sense for him to have split a lot of blood.
There must be
Which
something.
means the only possibility we're left with is...
What could it be?
The blood belongs to someone else.
Yeah, the killer! Yeah, exactly.
If I didn't notice the blood here, would you have pointed it out to me?
Eh?
Huh?
I would have pointed it out to you if the roles were reversed. That way you know not to step on it.
Right.
Sure, I pointed out. Why would you say that?
Thanks.
What? What? I'm so confused. Do you have anything to say? She's just saying the same
Yep.
thing over and over. Great. Can I leave now? As Ava and I emerge from the basement on the lookout for anything which could aid us in our investigation,
Eh?
right in front of us, a flustered Eloise was huddled with her back to the wall. Standing next to her,
Yeah.
Sup, you guys? Might want to lower your voice around here. Some stuff has happened.
What could it be?
Is something wrong?
Sorry. Eloise had a bit of a frightening experience
You
recently.
think?
I think we all have.
No kidding.
Well, yeah, the scene downstairs is bad, but I'm talking about something else. After Tozu left, we tried going inside Wolfgang's room to look for clues. But the moment we stepped in, she suddenly pounced on me. She dragged me out and Desmond ran after us. I haven't been able to get my heart to stop beating so quickly since.
Huh?
Hold on, this she you're referring to?
Shit.
Yup, it's Grace. She's been guarding Wolfgang's dorm ever since she kicked us out. Grace was blocking access to Wolfgang's dorm? What the heck? Grace? 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 Honey? This looks bad on you. This looks really bad. Did you just, have a one-night stand and decided he wasn't good at doing it, so you just decided to off him? Like, what's wrong with you, hun?
We can't let her bar from entering this room. The class trial could start at any moment.
That's what I tried telling everyone else, but they pretty much gave up. Jen and Mark went into the dining hall, Diana went to the laundry room, and Toshiko and Ingrid went to the courtyard. Eloise and I, though, we're not gonna let this slide. We gotta get inside the dorm room, so we've been brainstorming other ways to approach Grace.
Think about it this way.
And we've landed on something, performing a brief inquisition. Inquisition? If Grace doesn't want to cooperate, we'll start badgering her with questions, poke at her ego until it eventually retreats.
Safety first.
If you want, you can join us. A debater must be good at dishing verbal beatdowns, yeah? I did come here to inspect Wolfgang's dorm, so I might as well. Dude, okay, first of all, that's the best thing to ask Damon because he's such a negative Nancy. I bet he could get her to lose her cool real fast.
If that's the case,
I'm out.
I'll go to the dining hall and ask Jen and Mark for their testimonies.
Eh?
You're not coming along?
Where?
Grace isn't someone I'd like to be around right now. You three can handle her.
That's right, because Grace doesn't like her either. Something tells me she's just afraid of her talent being mocked.
Right.
No sweat, have fun with Jet and Mark.
Goodbye.
Ava left in the direction of the laundromat, clearly taking the long route to the dining hall.
Should we approach Grace then?
Totally.
Yeah, let's not waste any time.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Do you want to take the lead, Damon? Oh, sure. I wasn't going to admit it to either of their faces, but their plans seemed pretty half-baked. Not because I was going to face off with Grace, but because she was too. How could a bumbling person like her be any help in a verbal showdown? If anything, she'll probably make us look uncoordinated. Guess I'll have to do most of the heavy lifting here. Since Grace was guarding Wolfgang's dorm, she should be right around the corner. Oh, there she is. Boop. Should I say something to you first, though? What you gonna say,
It's
Eloise?
Can you speak to Grace already?
Okay, that wasn't helpful. You next? You seem like the same height as me.
Good luck.
If Grace tries anything, Eloise and I have you back. Seems like you guys couldn't do anything the first time through, though. Alright, Grace, square up! Don't you two yuppies get it? You're not coming in.
Don't get it mixed up.
Hang on, we're not here for that. Damon just wants to ask you a question.
Back off.
He isn't coming in either.
Jeez.
Why not? I need to investigate Wolfgang's dorm room.
Soybean.
Back off, Soybean! His room is none of your business. Except it is. I have to search his last known whereabouts, which includes his dorm room by default.
See that?
What if I said I've done the job for
Come
you?
again?
As in you've searched the room? High and low, wanna know what I found? Nothing.
For us to believe that, we need to see it ourselves.
Oi!
You think I'm lying?
Just saying.
There's a chance you could be, unfortunately. Think about it. You haven't given us any reason to believe you. Someone who's got nothing to hide wouldn't be acting so protective right now, you know? It gives the impression there's something you really don't want us to see.
Anyway. Also, can this be considered breaking the rules? Tozu wants this game to be fair, but being prevented from searching every room doesn't seem very fair.
Don't test me.
Even if it isn't, what are you gonna do?
I'll report it to Tozu.
Huh?
You.
Makes sense.
Nice idea. What do you say we look for him now? If Tozu agrees this is sabotage, he might call Mara to help. Oi! It's not sabotage! I'm not hiding anything about the murder. Don't try to get me involved.
Desmond never mentioned Wolfgang's murder.
Anyway.
Look, just let us into the room. If you're telling the truth, we'll drop our suspicions.
Gotta stay one step ahead.
The reality of the situation is we gotta invade Wolfgang's privacy if we want to know what happened to him. He would want to investigate our dorms if it were anyone else who died. Grace stood there silently, gritting her teeth. Then she stepped away from the door.
Okay.
Phew. You should have said that first. Mentioning Mara to Grace seems to be working. Sweet, thanks, Grace. With sighs of relief, we entered Wolfgang's dorm. Here we go. Oh, wow. I like his room. So this was Wolfgang's dorm. While some of my expectations were correct, a lot about the room still surprised me. I anticipated the layout resembling my dorms and the decor reflecting his talent. What I didn't anticipate was how messy it was. Well, maybe not messy, just really casual. A room that clearly been well lived in.
Oi, you!
Don't move things around when you inspect them. I want to keep the room as is. To be honest, I'm not sure why I was even surprised. Oh my gosh, his room is so nice. OMG, he's got like a table and couch and sofa and a desk. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. This is such a nice room. It's so much nicer than Damon's. Ah! I'm jealous. Here's the calendar. Let's go look at the calendar. Ah! Oh my goodness. Wolfgang also had a pinup calendar in his room. And it's also September. This isn't what I should be focusing on during a murder investigation. Oh my goodness. This man's messy. An intricately patterned couch side by side with 2 red sofa chairs. How come he has a whole, like, living room set in his room? We don't have that. Do we? We just have, like, a nice, fancy sofa and a table, but he's got, like, a whole living room set here. Even the throw pillows seem to be arranged in just the right way. Clothes! Clothes were scattered across the room, including a familiar-looking woman's jacket. Nothing about them looked suspicious. It's pretty messy. There's a bear. Can we look at the bear? Oh, it just went back to the clothes. My bad. Okay, let's look at the bear. The bear is so cute! A large toy bear adorned the bed. Something tells me this didn't belong in the room originally. Did Wolfgang give that to Grace? Or did Grace give that to Wolfgang? I want to know. I want to know. Look at the books. Look at all the fancy books. Huge wooden bookshelves filled to the brim with a catalog of books towering over the room. Skimming the titles, most seemed to be about the intricacies of the legal system, although some were about old court cases rehearsed with new evidence. Did Wolfgang really read any of these, or were they all just for show? Watch them be fake. Look at the desk. Let's go back to the books. No, I don't want the books. What? Look at that. His room looks so freaking cool. It's not even fair. What's up, Damon?
Hi.
Hey, can you check something out for me?
Easy enough.
In here or?
That's not it.
In the boiler room. I found a taser gun in
Are
there.
you for real?
I can't tell if it's been fired or not. I don't think it has, but I want to know for sure because if I'm wrong and this taser gun was used, it might clue us into the nature of Wolfgang's
No
death.
kidding.
What we're talking about is that big of a deal, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you're skilled at using guns, I figured.
All good.
No sweat. I'll see to it once I'm done here. Thanks for the heads up, Damon. Great, you were done. I really like this room. I'm kind of upset we don't have this nice of a room. It's not even, it's like so cozy in here. I'm actually upset. Eloise was kneeling on the floor, sorting through Wolfgang's bedside ottoman with a serious look on her face.
Hi.
Hey, can we talk for a
Give
second?
me a moment.
Okay. She closed the ottoman and stood up, now wearing the same nervous expression she always did. Is there something wrong? I want to know your whereabouts during Wolfgang's murder. Oh. When the murder happened, I was with Desmond in the courtyard.
Eh?
The courtyard?
Yes? You can ask Desmond to confirm if you're confused.
No, I'm fine.
It's simple.
Let me just ask this. What were you doing during the blackout?
Blackout?
Yeah, you did experience it, right?
That's not...
No, I don't think there was ever a blackout. We were only alerted to the murder because of Tozu's announcement.
I see.
So my theory was right. If Winona never experienced a blackout in the tree room, and Eloise never experienced a blackout in the courtyard, both of those buildings must be connected to an entirely different power source. That'll be good for future information in case we want to take down this whole facility. We'd have to take down 3 different generators at the same time. Because I assume the security cameras are also on a separate system too. We're not here for that. My butt.
Hi.
Hey. Normally she'd be meeting my eyes.
Quit it.
I know you suspect me. I can tell by the look on your face. But I don't know anything about his death. To be in the dark like everyone else about a person she was so close to. Get a grip on yourself, Damon. Grace can claim to know nothing about the murder, but what about everything before it?
Anyway.
So, I heard a rumor you became Wolfgang's new bunk buddy. This room seems to confirm that. How was he this morning? Grumpy? Happy? Oh, I'm sure he was happy about what was happening last night. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I mean, clothes are piled on the floor. Sick.
Eh?
Huh? We were planning to get to the game tournament, but he woke up with an ache in his stomach. He woke up sick? You mean he did the deed and then got sick? That doesn't make any sense. What? Can that happen? Morning sickness right after that? If you're telling me the truth and Wolfgang planned to attend the tournament,
That's not it.
why did he say the opposite yesterday? Admittedly, I am also a little hesitant about attending. I'm not sure if I will have the time for it. From what I remember, Wolfgang said he'd be too busy to attend the tournament. Heh, more like he wanted another round at the pachinko machine.
Watch and learn.
I would know. I interrogated him after breakfast. I'm sorry, pachinko machine? Is that where the teddy bear came from? Oh, he so wanted to give that to you, Grace. So wanted to give that to you. Oh, my headcanons are becoming correct.
No.
What? That's seriously what he meant?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is why I told him, hey, no, let's do the tournament. He was a bit finicky at first, typical for Soybean, but he eventually caved. Wolfgang was a pachinko player? I'm not sure I can believe that. I can. Look at the teddy bear. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Then again, some of the paraphernalia in this room looked neither golf nor law related.
Okay.
Alright, so based on what you're saying, Wolfgang agreed to attend the tournament yesterday. However, come this morning, Wolfgang remembered the pirate was attending, so he suggested I track down that guy and partner with him instead.
Right.
Right, because you needed to bring a partner to the tournament. Wolfgang, he knew I was miffed about it. His smile said as much. But I walked out the door anyway.
Dumbass.
Wolfgang said he was too sick to get out of bed, so I walked away. If Wolfgang really had been bedridden, how did he wind up in the boiler room? Either he didn't come of his own volition, or he was never sick to begin with. Kinda looks like he was lying to Grace. By the look on her face, I could tell Grace realized the same. With all that said, it wasn't like Wolfgang to hide anything. For a guy who's gung-ho about honesty, you think he would confide in the person he's closest to. Did the letter I find inside this blazer pocket have something to do with it? I think it did. At the bottom of the page, fragments of a message were still visible. Secret, 8:15 a.m. and close the door. Doesn't this read a lot like a command? While only a few words are legible, a lot could be gleaned from them. For example, that mention of a secret. Did the rest of the note elaborate on it, or was the word alone enough to scare Wolfgang? Maybe he wanted to shield Grace from the information even he couldn't handle, or maybe he simply didn't want her to know. Whatever the reason, Wolfgang Akiri deliberately hid information from someone. Ironic, huh? Dang! Oh my gosh. Why was Grace so antsy about people entering? There didn't seem to be anything suspicious lying around there. In any case, since I'm done here, I should head to the dining room hall. I'm pretty sure that's where Ava said she was going. As soon as I entered the room, Ava walked over to me.
Hello. I just finished talking to everyone here.
Anything important?
Rage.
Nothing important. I don't think Jen and Mark are taking this seriously. This might end like the mock trial where only a couple people know what they're doing.
Does she really think so? Well, that information definitely didn't bode well for me. I couldn't afford to be discouraged by it. Not unless I want to die in this game.
Focus.
I'll see if I can make those two talk.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Okay, let's see. Let's talk to Kai first. Why didn't Tozu fix the blackout himself? Is the maintenance of this place seriously our responsibility?
Not okay!
The fridge and the pantry are restocked every day, though. Can't things just be consistent? Whining aside, he made a good point. Why didn't Tozu fix the blackout? Thinking back on his spiel from earlier, the tablet's information has been divulged in such a way that both the killer and the spotless have equal chance of success. Did Tozu abstain from fixing the blackout because it was important to the killer? They could easily make their escape if no one could see anything.
Wait.
Oh yeah, Damon, since you're here, I've been thinking really hard about those footsteps we heard.
Come again?
When we were in the storage closet?
No, seriously.
Yeah, they were soft, right? Like the person was wearing
I
socks.
see.
Now that you mention it, it did sound like socks on a hard floor. How could you know that? I don't even know that. How do you even know that? Ugh. Of all things to be right about, it has to be this.
Eh?
What do you mean?
Man.
I mean, why didn't the killer just wear shoes? Think about it. The sound of something like heels would be pretty distinct, right? Or what about sneakers? They'd get really squeaky on a smooth floor. And
Don't say that.
what I'm saying is you could totally figure out the shoe from the sound it makes. And if you know what the shoe the killer had on, you can just look for the person with the matching pair. But socks? Anyone could be wearing socks. The person probably removed their shoes for that reason.
This sucks.
Because there was water in the floor of the room, so they didn't want to get their shoes wet, so they got their socks wet instead. But then their socks would be wet. What? Ugh, just our luck. Okay, I'm kind of scared. Should I stop the investigation now? Because we're already at 1 hour and 20 minutes. If I stop it now, then we can start the trial in the next episode. Will it let me? Will it let me pause? Oh, it will. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna stop this right now. We're gonna go ahead with the trial in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching. I am Skurboga, Captain Skurboga, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye!